Washoku versus Yoshoku. Isn't ramen Yoshoku? That's something I'd like to talk about today, so stick around. Hi, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of the Ikigai Diet and Ikigai Bio-Hacking. In the last video, which is called Healthy Japanese Foods and Unhealthy Japanese Food, I talked about some of the popular Japanese dishes in the West, such as, sushi, tempura, ramen, and sukiyaki. And sushi and tempura are washoku, but others are not. Okay, so what about others then? Sukiyaki is called Yoshoku. What is Yoshoku? In Japanese cuisine, Yoshoku refers to a style of Western-influenced cooking which originated during the Meiji Restoration. These are primarily Japanized forms of European dishes, often featuring Western names and usually written in katakana. It is an example of fusion cuisine. For example, this is tonkatsu, which means deep fried pork cutlets. Yeah, so a lot of Yoshoku are kind of meat-based because meat came into Japan during Meiji period. And this one is omelette and hamburger. Yeah, omelette and hamburger. Yeah, that's another common Yoshoku. And this is spaghetti, which is spaghetti. Yeah. And curry rice, which is curry and rice. Yeah. This is Yoshoku too. So when you think of curry, it is from India. It's not from Europe. So why do we call it Western dishes? Well, the thing is, because India is, part of Asia, but I think around that time people didn't think India was part of Asia, or because Indian people look more Westerners, right? So and the culture was quite different too. So for whatever the reason, the curry was considered to be Yoshoku. Yeah. However, ramen isn't considered to be Yoshoku, even though it came from other countries. Yeah, because China, ramen came from China, and China and Japan had a strong connection. Yeah, Japan has been influenced by China throughout our history, and many things, came into Japan from China, and ramen is one example. So we don't call that a Western dish. It is a Chinese dish, and therefore we call it shuka, which means Chinese food. Now, this is washoku. Yeah, so you see the difference? Yeah, and then so washoku is more fish-based, while yoshoku is more meat-based. Yeah, and this one is very rich because we have different dishes, and because washoku is often in the format of ichiju sansai, which means one soup, three dishes. Usually, we have a rice and then soup, which is usually miso soup, and then one pickle dish, and then three side dishes. This is called ichiju sansai because sansai means three dishes, but sometimes it is, one soup, four dishes, or one soup, two dishes, or one soup, five dishes. In this case, it is one soup, one, two, three, four dishes, right? But yoshoku can be served in the format of ichiju sansai too. For example, this one is tonkatsu teishoku. Teishoku means set menu. Yeah. And then this one is one soup and then a pickle and two side dishes. But tonkatsu and salad can be divided into two dishes. Therefore, it becomes sort of three dishes. In the case of yoshoku, often they put meat and salad on one plate. And this one is buta no shogayaki teishoku. Yeah, so teishoku of stir-fried pork with ginger. Yeah, and this one has So one soup, and I don't know if it's a pickle, but they don't always have a pickle. Usually, when the tradition of Ichijo Sansai, we have a pickle, but this one doesn't have a pickle. But let's say it's a pickle dish, and then we have two side dishes, right? But again, you can divide the pork and salad into two dishes and become three dishes, right? So when you go to restaurant in Japan, and if you order teishoku, and you get this kind of meals, whether it is yoshoku or washoku. An example of washoku teishoku is yakizakana teishoku. It means grilled fish teishoku. Yeah, and then comes with one soup and pickle, and this one is just one soup, one dish. That's another yakizakana teishoku. So one soup, pickles, and then three dishes. This one is one soup, three dishes, right? So if you want to experience washoku when you come to Japan, go to a restaurant and order yakizakana teishoku, and you get the kind of a feeling of washoku, right? And then now we have, of course, pizza and hamburgers and other, kind of regular Western dishes, as well as like a tom yum goong, that's a Thai food, Vietnamese food, or even regular Indian curry. Not the curry rice, but real Indian curry dishes. Yeah, and they are not called Yoshoku because they are relatively new. They came into Japan, in the last, 40 or 50 years or so, and they don't have a name for them. You just call them Indian food or Thai food or Vietnamese food, or pizza is a pizza, right? Or pizza, or maybe Italian food. Yeah. So basically, we have washoku, yoshoku, shuka, and modern, foreign dishes, right? So who eats yoshoku? Yoshoku is eaten more in the urban areas and by younger generations. Yeah. And washoku is eaten more in the rural areas and by older generations. Right. So I am from Tokyo and I grew up in Tokyo. So when I was a kid, I remember maybe 70% of dishes we ate were yoshoku and 30%, yeah, were washoku. Yeah, and then, but that was back in 1970s. So it was still common to eat washoku, but today I would say 80 to 90% yoshoku and only 10 to 20% washoku. Yeah, and then recently in urban areas and younger generation, many people eat regular Western dishes such as pizza, hamburgers, and so on. Yeah, and also, when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I did spend 3 years in Nagano Prefecture, which is in the countryside, and I actually stayed with a kind of a farmer's house. So it's another family, and then 70% of the dishes were all washoku, and only 30% were yoshoku, and we never, ate pizza and hamburgers and stuff like that. Yeah, and then I remember we had a lot of vegetables dishes because they are farmers. They grew vegetables, yeah, and pickles. We always had a pickle, yeah, and we always had a pickle dish and then some other vegetable dishes. So washoku we had were a lot more diverse than the yakizakana teishoku you just saw, right? And today I live in Shiga Prefecture, which is also in the countryside. And I think, yeah, older generations tend to eat more washoku than younger generations. And people in their 70s or 80s, yeah, probably eat yoshoku sometimes, yeah. But I don't think they eat, pizza or, Thai food and Indian curry and that kind of thing. I mean, they never cook those food at home anyway. And then usually if they go to restaurant, they can eat those food, but they wouldn't go to those restaurants. Yeah. But people who are in my generation, like I'm 60 years old, yeah. So my generation and younger, might eat, pizza, Thai food, Vietnamese food and stuff like that when we go out to eat in the restaurant. And maybe people who are younger than my generation, in their like 50s or 40s, they might even cook those ethnic dishes at home, right? So our dietary culture has changed a lot over the years. Plus, depending on where you live, yeah, people have different diet. Now, so to know more about how Japanese people eat, like who eat Yoshoku, who eat Washoku, and how is our school lunch like, and what about the centenarians, the Japanese centenarians, what kind of food do they eat? Or, young Shizenha people, the naturalists, what kind of food do they eat and so on. Please read my book, The Ikigai Diet, The Secret Japanese Diet to Health and Longevity. And I mentioned Ichiju Sansai, it's all in the book, plus many other aspects of Japanese dietary culture, such as Ichibutsu Zentai Shoku, Shindo Fuji, Mago wa Yasashi, and Hare and Ke. The book is available on Amazon, both as Kindle and print-on-demand paperback. Okay, thank you for watching. Again, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of the Ikigai Diet and Ikigai Bio-Hacking. If you like this video, please give me your thumb up and please subscribe to my channel. Please hit the subscribe button and please leave your comment. Yeah, share your experiences of eating Japanese food. Have you ever tried Yoshoku? Like, if you've been in Japan, have you tried, buta no shogayaki teishoku and stuff like that? Yeah, please share your experiences in the comment section. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Live with your Ikigai!